Good morning and welcome back to the allotment on the channel. Unfortunately, this dreaded bug or whatever it was that took hold of me sort of late last week has not left. So I am still feeling very under the weather. I've come down today, I'm not at work, and it seems the least little thing I do, I've got no energy. But the greenhouse needs watering, small greenhouse needs watering, and the planter. So I've come down to do that, but very little else. It's amazing, just by having a couple of days off at this time of the year, how it can sort of set you back. I've got loads to do. All the peppers are bursting to get potted on. That one's even got a little flower coming, you see. And that was the intention of this midweek update. I was going to crack on with that. And also get the grapevine in, but unfortunately I don't have the energy, and I'm going to do what that well-known saying, listen to your body. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to finish watering up. I'll take you around, just show you one or two things on the plot, and also show you some progress that's taking place on my old plot at the back. And then I'm going to nip up home and just show you some of the stuff that I've done in the garden. But what I need to do first of all is get another watering can and finish doing this. Right, that's both the greenhouses done. I'll now take you and just show you one or two things on the plot and a concern I have with the strawberries. So from the greenhouse up, as you can see, still hardening off. Still got to get the French beans out. Still got to get the basil out there, and they need to go out rather sharpish. I'm working again over the weekend, so it's going to have to probably be a big Sunday. I'm hoping that I can muster that energy. Lavateria, I've taken one or two of those home and planted them up. I'll show you where they go. And hardening off on the sleeper there, I've got the outdoor toms and some more cosmea, which are going to be planted down here because I've planted quite a few at home, so the rest can stay here. I'm quite happy with the Elsa Craig onions. I've just give that bed a hoe. believe it or not, it's knocked me for 6. More warm and clammy again. But I couldn't walk past it and leave it like that. So hopefully it'll stay dry today, and those will die off for me to just pick off tomorrow. But moving across to the Carmen, the red onions, they have not been faring so well. Morning, Graham. They've not been faring so well. So I've just given them a hoe. But as I said before, they do tend to sulk. But not normally for this long. If you look at those compared to those. So the red ones remain temperamental. The chard is looking a little bit sickly, but I think, again, it's just got to get its roots down. Right, let's move across. Guess what? I managed to get the horticultural grit for the Grapevine, which again is another job that's going on the list. I want to sort of create some sort of bed there, or cut half a pot off and dig down, get some of that grit in the bottom, because I like it to be well drained. It's not the ideal time to be planting a grapevine. Normally you do that through sort of the off season, coming into the beginning of spring, but it is what it is. So that's quite high up on the priority list. All watered. I can see a difference in that planter already, only a matter of weeks, a matter of days in. Over here you can see I'm starting to lay out where the outdoor tomatoes are going to go. I was going to go for 5 in each bed, but I've changed my mind. I'm just going to go for 4. Making sure that I water the pumpkins and the squash every day. They don't like to be missed. The brassicas are doing okay in there, and my potatoes now are making a showing in each of the rows. These first 2 rows were the last ones to show, but they are starting to come through now. Now what I do with these is I put a bucket of water, gosh, I can't even think, a watering can of water on each row every 2 or 3 days. These in the bags, the new potatoes, are looking great. Now over to the strawberries. Now these have got some strawberries on them, but they don't look healthy at all. That one in particular has just died off. I don't know what's gone on there. I've kept the soil moist. This one here, a little showing of a fruit there, but so anybody with any ideas as to what could be ailing them? Do they need a feed? Is the soil not fertile enough for them? Let me know in the comments. Let's get that out of there while I'm here. Right, and I'll just take you down, because this is one of the things that keeps me gardening. Remember at the back of when I had the back plot, at the back of the shed, I had a honeysuckle, and right at the beginning of spring I dug it out. I thought, I'm not going to leave that behind, I'll take it with me and I'll get it planted somewhere on the plot. And I planted it here on the entranceway, and when you first put it in you couldn't see a thing, and look at that, it's bounced back. So I'm really pleased about that. And over there you can see that clematis there has made its flower. I don't expect these clematis that I bought this season to be prolific. I think next season is when we'll start to see the plants actually really taking off. Right, let's nip over to the back plot. So here we go, and it seems that the new plot holder has got stuck in and turned the whole plot over. And maybe if he continues to do that right the way down where we suffered with all the damp, you never know, it might help alleviate it. But it looks to me like he's had a rotivator on there, and he's just rotivated all the paths in. Now, that wood chip, I don't think I replaced it last year, so that should be well on its way to breaking down. So hopefully it won't steal all the nitrogen out of the soil when they go to plant. The irises are up and out, and the one fruit tree that we left has got plenty of apples on. So the plot holder will be pleased with that, and he started to dig out where the old wood sheds were. So a real transformation there. Oh, right, back home, and I'm going to crack on and get my bush tomatoes going. But before I do that, I'll take you down and just show you where I put some of those canners and where they've gone in the garden. So there are the tomatoes that I want to plant up. As you can see, this clematis has taken off a little bit now. It's starting to show. I've just got to get some sort of supports on this fence for it to grab hold of, because it's sort of like falling down all the time. The mile a minute down at the bottom isn't doing too bad. Eventually it'll just cling onto itself and just create a really dense hedge, which I keep pruned right back. It does look quite nice. I know it's vigorous and I know it gets all over, but you know, once every Sunday during the growing season, just give it a little clip, it's fine. Everybody's out cutting the grass and trimming the grass now. Let's go have a look where we've put some of these plants. So first of all, straight away, the Lavateria, I've put three in this pot with a Cosmos, and I think that'll look quite nice. I do like that colour of pink that the Lavateria has, and as you can see, my canners, a couple of the canners have gone in there. The peachy red type Dahlia has gone in there, and one of its offcuts have gone in here as well. All those will be lifted and taken back to the allotment at the end of the season. This is a little bit messy here. These Montbretia or Cricosmia, whichever you prefer, are absolutely drowning out this fern. So I'm going to have to do a little bit of tidying up there. I had a beautiful wisteria here, and because of the way that I paved it in, I created a pool, and basically the water was coming down off the top there and it was just pooling in here, and as you'll know, wisteria don't like wet feet, and it died. It was absolutely beautiful. It had gone all the way up here, it had started to go around the other side of the bar. It was beautiful. But I've replaced that with another honeysuckle, and it's called Telmaniana. It's a yellow flower, so I think that'll look quite good. Right, so let's get back down. So down here, there's the fuchsia that I had. I will bring it on down at the allotment that a neighbour gave me. And we have here on the stairs some of the sunflowers. There is the banana, the two big bananas that I spent a fortune on and lost. I did manage to get the pups off those, and I have planted one in this bed over at the other side, and also in the bed behind me. I've got 3 Nyphophia, which are the red hot pokers, one there, one a bit further on in the distance, and one over there, and I think that's going to look really, nice when they come through. And on the step here, some of the sunflowers, the dwarf sunflowers, I've brought back. And in there again, there is quite a few of the cosmea and the cosmos. I'm nipping to the garden centre this weekend to buy another 3 or 4 GMs, because I think they look lovely when they line this whole wall. I did have one here, don't know what happened to it. There is one over there that seems to be taking its time, but I'm going to nip out and get a few more of those just to break that wall up a little bit. In here on the fern bank, we've got quite a few cosmos, and the problem we don't put too much in here is because we've got quite a few spring bulbs in there, so looking well. This ligwell area sends up a beautiful yellow spike. The problem with that is, as it stands now, it looks quite healthy, but as soon as the sun comes out, because we're southwest facing, the sun beams straight in here, it really does wilt, so it's in the wrong place. But I have got another one, and I'll show you that in 2 seconds. I love, absolutely love the foxgloves. I just think they're a lovely plant. I've got to get this pruned back a little bit. In here, we've got a climbing rose there. We've got the wisteria in the centre here. That's all muddled in with this honeysuckle, and as you can see, it's just creating a real jungle in amongst and underneath this tree, which takes quite a lot of the moisture out of this grass. I've got to put my sprinkler on here quite regular, because the roots run right the way through here, and you can actually see the brown patches. You can see where the roots are drawing the moisture out. So at least once a week I give it a good sprinkle. Here, this big plant here, I think it's an Angelica. It goes right the way up and above the fence there, with a lovely yellow flower. I love that. This is an iris, one of my wife's friends. It was her favourite plant. Unfortunately she passed away a few years ago, so we planted this in her memory, and when it comes up we always say cheers with something alcoholic to Debbie. Over here is a bit of a problem bed. This Trachycarpus actually takes all the moisture out of this bed, so trying to put anything in there doesn't really work. So this year I've kept the 2 pots, cannas in the pots. I've planted one there, we'll see how it goes, but I think my intention next year is to take everything out, lift this up, and I may try and incorporate some really nice ornate sort of pebbles in that whole area there, and just stand some pots on it. And that's an old chimney that I got when I was doing a job. A bloke didn't want it, he says, do you want it? And my intention is to take that to the allotment, tip it upside down, and those grooves there, use it as a strawberry planter. But it's been there for about 3 years. Never get to it. This bed now is starting to look something like. In here we have the lilies, the 3 lilies that I brought home, that Ali from the Rusty Garden gave me, so they'll be popping up. And if you look down there, just down there beyond the canna leaf, that's one of the pups, the bananas, and that's really nice. The tree fern there, and then on the edge here I've just put some calendula in, just to add a little bit of colour. We've got the cannas in there, and we've got a couple of the dahlias, delphiniums, and interdispersed with the cosmos. The water feature is not something I'm going to get round to doing this year. I'm not going to do it through summer. It's just, you know, you don't want to be wasting your time doing stuff like that. In summertime, you want to be able to just come home and sit and relax in the garden when you can. So I just brought all the stone that I'd gathered up, piled it all up there, and just made it look somewhat like. And that's something that I'm going to look to maybe break down and do something a little bit better in the winter. But yeah, all in all, it's starting to take shape. The ceanothus there is lovely. Now I understand that you probably get 5 years out of a ceanothus. That's what I've heard. I need to look it up a little bit more. I'm hoping that's not the case. This is going to get a hard prune, just to take it back in a little bit. And the magnolia is an absolute picture when it's in full flower. As is, you see my Jamaican flag flying there for me, Dad. Let's have a look. As is this lilac. I'm going to give this a prune now. It's virtually finished flowering. I'm going to prune it right down to the fence just to try and let it thicken out a little bit, and we should get a better show next year. And I love that bamboo that's in my next door neighbour's garden. It really is nice. Right, I think I better get back up there and get these tomatoes planted, and then I'm going to have my feet up. I haven't got the energy to open this. Just roll my sleeves up. So yeah, I'm going to get these planted up, and I think I'm going to call it a day. I might just sit in the bar, put YouTube up on, and catch up with a few videos. This has obviously been a change to the normal content that I put up, but I didn't want to not put anything up. Just wanted to keep the routine going and keep everybody informed as to where I am. Right folks, I think I'm going to call that a day, and I hope that I'm feeling better at the weekend, and we'll resume back to normality then. Until next time, thank you very much for watching. Take care, have a great rest of the week, and happy growing.